The legend Trevor Reilly hanging out in studio with us through the Utah preview show. You hear Kyle Whittingham right there. How's Kyle Whittingham hanging? How's he doing? How's he holding up through this?
You know, I think he's going through a range of emotions daily between his family, which he has there. He's a family guy. He always says blood's thicker than water. So I start with Coach Whit. I say family, right? His family's always around the building. So
all of them.
All of them, man.
Yeah.
Even cousins, everybody. I love that about him. He's the godfather. And then he's also worried about legacy, I think. You know, he didn't told me that, but I would bet he is. Everybody is a little bit. What am I leaving behind? The third thing is the state of the team. It's probably higher than legacy, but it's in there. And he's probably feeling pretty good about that, right? They look good. I mean, right now we're going to win out. Yeah. We're going to win these next two games, okay? And then so now we're 10-2. That's only happened a few times in the history of Utah. We got a shot to get into the playoff. But then I think he's worried about, what are we going to do if I stay? How's that look? I don't know if he knows if he wants to stay or not. I think he's going to stay.
I think he's going to stay.
We're ranked 13th in the country, Ute fans. What more do we want?
Well, Trevor, I've talked about this a lot. I think he's going to stay.
Yeah, well, he should. He's making a lot of money, and he's doing a good job. He should stay.
He doesn't look worn out.
No.
He still looks happy. His team's still productive.
But I think he should.
I think he's going to stay.
Here's my hot take.
But what does that do to the defensive staff?
Well, this is what I was at. My hot take would be if I was Coach Whit and I don't get this money right off the field, I'd take another job that has the money. I'd take this show on the road and let Scally take over. I'd leave with 10-2 and say, I left because they couldn't handle it. And I'm leaving them in a good position. They got Morgan. He's got the energy. You can do all this new crazy stuff. Let me get to one of these blue bloods and show y'all what it's all about.
If he had the Texas Tech money.
Yeah, how about UCLA coming and grab Kyle and bankroll him $10 million? I bet you'll win. I'll go with him, for heaven's sake.
Just putting the money out there and buying the talent.
Well, that's how it is now. TCU, we saw this. Okay, TCU started this off when they came out of nowhere and made the final. And then we beat him at Colorado the next year, first game. Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
I should have quit coaching after that. I was so happy. But the point is we've already seen this. Texas did it last year. They bought their way in, right? Texas Tech's doing it this year. So it seems to be a commonality with Texas, right? Maybe, but you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kyle deserves big money.
You got to have the money.
Kyle deserves bankrolling, guys. We need to bankroll this guy outside of the revenue share, and right now it's not being met. And I'm telling you, if it isn't met, if I was Coach Whit and I was Bruce Tollner, right, who was his agent,
you'd leverage him.
I'd get the heck out of Dodge and say, I love you. I'll see you when I'm done.
And go where there's money.
I mean, absolutely. Why would you not? You can't. It's just baseball. Do you want to be Oakland or Tampa Bay, or do you want to be the Yankees and the Dodgers?
The Dodgers. Yep. Where's your payroll? Kyle Whittingham addressed this 4 years ago, and said the top 25 will reflect the top 25 payouts.
And guess what? Look at the top three. Look what Indiana spent on their coach. Look what they're spending off the field. Look what Ohio State's doing. Oh, my goodness.
I guess if you just take a look at the top 5, you might have the biggest spenders in each conference. And the SEC biggest spender, the Big 10 biggest spender, and the Big 12 biggest spender.
There you go.
You don't have an ACC team in the top 5, so they would be excluded. But you've got 3 of the biggest spenders. Would you assume about that? Because Texas Tech definitely got the money.
Yeah, of course, dude. Texas Tech.
Indiana's pouring the money into the program.
Well, they've switched to a football school. Bob Knight died. Now he ain't. That's a football school now. Indiana's a full-blown football school. They've done it 2 years in a row, and they got a quarterback first round. And going back to your point, how's that look? If you're looking for Clemson, how'd that work out for Dabo with that idea? What he had? We're not going to do NIL. Well, that's a good idea. How's that working out?
Yeah, he said my players are going to be here for their 5 years. Their eligibility, it stands here. Everybody else is cutting players.
That's how it is, dude. We cut 60 of them at Jackson State and Colorado, and everyone thought we were insane, man. That's just how it is, dude. This is pro ball, and this has to be more like a pro ball model. We need a president of the team who's going to make money for the brand, off the brand, to pay for the players. We need that. If we don't have donors, we need that. This has to be an NFL type of run situation.
Well, right now they've got a really great team assembled, and they're playing some really good football. They've got Kansas State this weekend. I teased this. Kansas State, their run-stop defense has been pretty miserable. They sit just below halfway in the country. They're 77th, giving up about 155 yards a game. So it feels like Kansas State's defense is primed for the picking.
Yeah, I would say so. We're going to run for 400 on them, it sounds like.
It feels like that's a situation where, okay, so do you have to put up a little flash?
Yep.
Do you have to, what's your mindset if you're Jason Beck, if you're Morgan Scally, if you're Kyle Whittingham in this game against Kansas State?
We want to be in the 40s. They want to be in the teens, at minimum. Right? We don't want them in the 20s, and we don't want to be in the 30s. We don't want anything like that. Right? It doesn't look good. We want to be in the 40s, 42, 17. That's what I like to see, man.
Look at the scoring offense and scoring defense nationally. Utah's number 6 in scoring offense, 41.1 points per game. They're 10th in the nation defense, 15.6 points per game. All right, so just take your average and go 41 to 15.
There you go.
And you got yourself a pretty good situation. I asked Lloyd this. I want to ask you this. When's the last time you saw the offense higher ranked, more productive than the defense at Utah?
It's been never. I think it happened maybe once in the last 20 years, or maybe 08.
That's what Lloyd was thinking.
09?
Lloyd was thinking
04?
maybe Tyler Huntley, but I don't even think Tyler Huntley.
I was on, or Kyle's year in 08. Our offense is pretty potent with Brian Johnson and the crew. We have to look into that. 08, 09.
But it feels like that defense was more the staple, no?
Dude, the best defensive I've ever seen at Utah is 2018. That was Julian, that was Fotu, Penasini, Barton, McGidry, Jalen Johnson. I mean,
that was a really good defense.
Terrell Burgess. I mean, these guys are all starting in the NFL, a lot of them, and they were killing it, man. Yeah. We were killing people, dude.
That was a really good defense. 2004, probably the last time offense had more production than the defense. It's got to be.
Yeah,
I don't think it's happened in Kyle Whittingham's tenure.
Well,
and Jason Beck has brought something new. And to your point, it's like, okay, you want to keep these guys together. You want to keep this staff together. It's going to cost you, because I've got to imagine Jason Beck, where he's putting up 478 yards of offense, and he's been in and out with different injuries.
Yep.
It feels like Jason Beck has just really grabbed the nation with what he's doing offensively.
He's going to be a head coach, if not this year, the next year, if he scales properly, if he continues what he's done, which I think he will. He seems like a man of God and a man who doesn't lie, and I think that goes well in coaching, right? I think people ask around about you, and if you have high integrity, which I'm pretty sure he does, right? Did you play with him, or he went to BYU?
He was just after.
So does he have that reputation down
very
at BYU?
Much.
So
very,
I mean,
very much.
That's taken care of. The production's on the field. He looks the part. He ain't bald like me and you now. He's got some hair. Okay?
I know.
He's young.
He's still young and handsome.
Okay, he's married with kids. I mean, he's going to be a head coach, or he's going to be in the NFL running an offense.
Yeah, he's a beautiful family man.
Yeah.
He's got a beautiful family. Jason Beck's done a fantastic job getting things going offensively for the University of Utah. So do you have any concerns about this Kansas State team?
I mean, the quarterback is supposed to be a slick Willie. They paid him some money, right? But
Avery Johnson.
He's shown himself to be just what he is. He's an above average guy. Okay, he's good.
But he makes mistakes.
Well, I'm ready. We got Morgan Scalley, dude. I ain't worried about all that. We got Morgan Scalley, bro. Yeah. And we got the defense that's running to the football now. We're running to that. We got Jackson Benny. Landon Barton still hasn't played his best game yet. And he's been getting better every week. I'm excited. And he's got John Henry Daly. I'd like to see some more production out of the D tackle room, but that's not really what the scheme asks for. That's just what I like to see. I like to see TFLs. It makes my life easier as a linebacker.
Where is the strongest position group defensively?
I would say DB. Okay, corner specifically.
You go DBs.
I mean, those guys are playing pretty well.
Over Jono, Damouni, Lander.
Well, the problem I have with that position in general is that if you're not having big havoc plays, then you're just kind of filling a role. You know what I'm saying? I want to see havoc plays. That's TFL, sacks, picks, forced fumbles. That's what I want to see.
That's
on
John
defense.
Henry Daly.
Okay, D-ends have been fantastic.
Yeah.
If you separate
Cash
them from
had
the
a nice
D-line,
sack last week.
the D-end room has been fantastic. Okay, D tackles, like I said, they've been lacking. They're young, okay, and they got a leaky. He's an older guy, but that's not really the scheme.
They've also been in and out of lineups.
Yes, that's exactly right. Kafusi's playing
he's
now.
Been available here and there. Vakalai's been available here and there. Yep. But when those edges are going, when you got Logan Fano and John Henry Daly going, those are two really good edges.
Yeah, they are. And Logan Fano's been playing better, right? He's paid now. Okay, so I expect a lot of him. I told him before the season, I want to see 8 sacks with that salary. And that's how it is now, Hans. You know that's how it is, dude.
I know.
He's good, right? And I want a little bit more out of him. Okay, I know he's got too bad. I want a little bit more out of him, dude.
It's bizarre to think about this. And I'll just take you behind the curtains. I had a conversation with one of my teammates from BYU, still my best friend. We hang out all the time. And I was talking to him on the drive here. And we were laughing about Hawaii. Both he and I are going to be out in Hawaii later in December. And we were laughing about it because we took a trip out to Hawaii with BYU to go play Hawaii. And they said, don't get in the water, don't be on the beach. He and I snuck out of the room.
Of course.
You know, we were out there with 15, 20 teammates. We sat and baked in the sun. I had like a 2nd degree sunburn underneath my pads. We were dehydrated. And I said to him, I said, Carlos, actually, no names. But I said Carlos. And you know Carlos.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you know Carlos. But I said, Carlos, if we were paid like these players are paid now, there's not a chance we would have been out of our rooms.
Nah, man.
That money makes the difference.
It does,
because
dude.
your name is on it. Your livelihood is on it. Some of these kids are making enough money that they can bankroll for the rest of their lives.
I mean, I could, dude. These guys are making above average players in Power 5 is making over $200,000 a year.
Over $200,000 a year, and you've got a lot of guys that are pulling in that $750. If you're a Power 4 FBS team and you're a starting left tackle, you're going to be making about $750,000.
And that's just how it is. We talked about slotted drafts positions. It's getting to that point. I was on another show. We talked about where the market is heading. And when NIL first started in 2021, I always say this because I give him a shout out. Antoine Owens, we had the first ever NIL deal.
Yeah.
Air Pomade.
Lloyd and I were talking about that. You were talking NIL way before anybody.
Just because when you get down at the culture, I believe culture comes from the bottom. In any place, right, culture always starts at the bottom. It resonates with the rest of the people, but everyone at the top is too busy trying to figure out what happened already at the bottom. And when I went to Jackson State, I saw the lawlessness, which was the NCAA. Okay, there was more lawlessness down there than I've ever seen. Not specifically at the school, at the level of play I was at. And so when you start thinking about how things are going to scale, right? Eventually, it's going to get up to the top, dude. That's just how it is. If there's no rules at the bottom, there's going to be no rules at the top eventually. And now we're here where the NCAA hasn't won a court case in a number of years. And basically, nobody even cares what they say. You don't even have to take an SAT to get into school anymore.
Yeah, they don't even want to push
They don't even care, dude.
You know, you look at the quarterback for Vanderbilt right now, and he essentially just told the NCAA, like, well, I'll sue you.
I'm just going to keep playing.
And they backed away.
Yeah.
And that kid is really good.
We almost had him at Jackson. Nobody wanted him.
What is he? Paiva?
Paiva was at a junior college in New Mexico, okay?
I knew that he was at New Mexico State because I called a bowl.
Maybe that was it. I thought he was.
I called a bowl game with him.
So he hit the portal. I don't remember where he was at first, and we almost had him on campus, and then the boys grabbed him. But he was a guy who's he competes, and he's another guy. I don't know how good of an NFL player he might be. I don't think so. But he competes, man.
But he
competes.
Yeah, he's a college baller.
That's the guy that we can get those guys at Utah, right? We can win with those guys at Utah. We just need some money to pay them.
Where do we start, man? Where do we start on the Trevor Reilly story? Like, where do we even get started?
My daughter, okay, she's the force. Remember that my daughter. I can't thank everybody in Ute and Cougar Nation who prayed for my daughter when I was in college. She had cancer, okay?
Sweet girl. So eye cancer, wasn't it?
She had kidney cancer. Lost her kidney. But we ended up having a good season, or I had a good season. Right, we got through it. But we start here with the state of Utah. Man, all three of my kids were born here, and again, my daughter, I can't thank everybody for helping out with that.
How's she doing?
She's doing great. She's going to be president of the United States one day.
Shane
Riley, okay?
There we go.
That she's going to be the one.
I love that. So we'll start with the family, start with the kids. All right, give us kind of a prediction of how things go on Saturday for the University of Utah.
Well, barring some special teams blunders or some trickery, we should have a 2-score lead going into half. And then by the end of the game, we should be, I see 40s to teens, somewhere in there. Okay, now kind of predict, because I don't know, we're going to try to get you back in studio if we possibly can, but predict. So let's just say Utah wins the next 2 games. Predict their future. Let's talk about USC. We got to talk about because I think USC loses to Oregon. Okay, so they got to lose to Oregon because if we both have 2 losses, they're going to let USC in probably over us. Okay? And they'll keep a 2-loss Oregon team over it too. That's another thing. Okay, so we got a lot of heat in that area, and then we got to hope and pray BYU takes an L against these guys this week. They have to have that. They got. I think were they 3-point favorites against Cincinnati? 2. So I think BYU will run. I think BYU will run them over. Yeah. I don't think Cincinnati's like that. I think they're a front-running team. I agree. So I predict us to not make the playoff. On odds-wise, if we go odds, it's probably under 50% to me. But I still think it's. I'm rooting for it. I think it's under 50% though. If they get a Pop-Tart Bowl or if they get an Alamo Bowl, they get a nice bid. I hope that the matchmakers put a good team in there, because you remember last year, BYU Colorado drew 8.5 million eyes. You know it, man. At the Alamo Bowl. Isn't that crazy? I know you know that. I played in that, or I was a coach in that game. And how much tension was it just in that staff? That's insane pressure around that spot. You talking about CU? Yeah. CU is insane. Their AD just resigned. Okay. Rick George just said, I'm going to take an advisory role. I'm not taking the heat for this fall. And I don't think they're going to fall completely. I just think that they're having a bad year. And we talked about ownership before, right? This college football landscape has to have an owner. A team has to have an owner. If you're going to have money on the table, Hans, as a business owner, someone has to own the business.
Right.
We have a business that has no owner. How can it run properly? And at CU, who's the owner? Is it Dion or is it Rick George?
Well, it should be Prime, but
so that's a whole other thing, right? Because in the school is like, well, we need to keep control, and it's like, okay, well that's why it's a hard deal. Even with Coach Witt right now, who's in charge?
It should be Coach Witt.
Well, so you say should, but guess what? He don't have the money he needs, so he ain't in charge really.
Yeah,
he's in charge of the team, right? But really, who's in charge of this? We are looking for. Coach Witt said in his press conference today, if you're donating big money to a program, you better believe you're going to have a say around here. He said that. He's looking for someone to own us.
He's saying, come in, bring your money.
Come on, man.
And let's do business.
I'm looking for some real live investor gamblers, right, who want to do something. I know how this works. We can get this done, dude. We need some money, and we're going to win. We're winning with no money. We're tied second for last in spending, gosh dang it.
That's unbelievable. All right, there you go, Trevor Reilly. Trevor, thank you.
Thank you,
Let's
Weezer,
do this again,
Idaho.
dude. It's so good to have you in studio, man.
I'm getting fired up. Hey, let's go to the Pioneer Park right now and play some hoops, gosh dang it.
I don't know if I'll do hoops, but I'll hit some one-on-ones. Let's go get some pads.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go.